lot of why we invest in the internet and internet startups is because one of the things that the internet allows you to do is to do things without asking for permission. So we call it permissionless innovation. So we tend to invest in this idea of permissionless innovation, of things that operate on the internet and create kind of new networks. That's sort of central to our investing thesis. So the creation of new networks, whether that's marketplaces like Etsy or crowdfunding like Kickstarter. And the thing that I've become convinced of is that I think we're sort of at the beginning of a transition that is as profound as going from hunter-gatherers to agriculture and then from agriculture to industrial society. And the thing that I'm most fascinated by is this idea that before we became agrarians, we in a way lived in a state of abundance. So if you look at the hunter-gatherer societies, they worked like 3 hours a day and they were pretty happy and they shared everything. And then it was only through this agrarian and industrial age that we kind of organized everything around the idea of scarcity. And it's scarce, and you have to work, and you have to work hard and harder. And so now the thing I'm fascinated by is that I think we can get back to a new form of abundance through digital technologies, which is why I think that digital technology, the internet, and this idea of things like basic income are strongly tied together.
Dieses Crowdfunding ist echt ganz nett gewesen und wir haben noch relativ viel Geld für deutsche Verhältnisse gehabt. Was waren das? 60.000 mit der Startkampagne und dann haben wir, glaube ich, jetzt 60.000 so ungefähr, 70.000, das was mit Crowdfunding zusammenkam. Aber es reicht irgendwie nicht. Ich finde, man muss es skalieren, es muss größer werden. Es war nur ein Testlauf bisher. Und deswegen ist es uns ganz wichtig, von Anfang an dieses Grundeinkommen, was wir einnehmen, halt aus dem Wirtschaftskreislauf herauszuziehen und quasi unsere Tools zu implementieren oder böse gesagt, wir hacken quasi den Konsum, um eine Mini-Konsumsteuer zu machen. Und wir haben diese Crowdbar installiert, das war relativ einfach mit einer Kooperation, das ist halt ein Browser-Plugin, was einen Affiliate-Link setzt und das Toolbar erscheint halt in dem Moment, wo du auf dem Shop bist. Das heißt keine aktive Werbung, sondern passive Werbung. Und du kannst quasi entscheiden, ich will jetzt quasi meine Umsatzsteuer dafür abführen. Und die Leute lieben es uns, die reißen uns das aus der Hand. 12.000 Leute haben das installiert und da kommen jeden Tag 200 € fürs Grundeinkommen rein.
I love that. There's several things I love about what you're doing. One is I love the idea of figuring out how this becomes something that is easily self-sustaining, that scales, that doesn't rely just on people continuing to give money, but that is embedded in people's daily lives. So I think that's really, really critically important. What can I do to help? I mean, I've sent some money, so I'm going to contribute to one of the basic incomes, but what other things do you think I can do to help? And I can send more money too, that's one thing, but what are the things you think you most need?
Does social innovation belong with governments, or can we now suddenly...
I think we can innovate, we can have social innovation. Crowdfunding, we're investors in Kickstarter. Crowdfunding is a social innovation. It lets artists, creative people, even products be funded in a completely new mechanism, and that's a social innovation. I would argue that a lot of what's happening with online education is a form of social innovation because it's making education easily accessible, often for free or for very low cost, that previously would have cost thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. That's a form of social innovation.